They say when the sky cries and thunder rolls without mercy, something is being born. Not always a child. Sometimes a revolution. Long ago, in the quiet northern valleys of Burkina Faso, where the red earth smells of iron and ancestors speak through trees, there lived a man named Barka, a blacksmith whose hands had built the spears of warriors and whose heart had never known fear. He lived with his wife, Awa, a healer, a midwife, and a woman whose words could calm even a crying goat during Harmattan. They had no riches, but their compound was full of wisdom, stories, and the smell of roasted maize. But what they didn't have was a child. They tried. For 14 years, they tried. They prayed at the river shrine. They offered yam at the foot of the baobab. They fasted under the moon. The villagers began to whisper, "Perhaps the gods have closed Awa's womb. Perhaps Barka's hands can shape iron but not life." Still, they waited, with faith as strong as firewood and patience as long as dry season. Then one night, it came. The sky was not like any other night. It didn't cry, it screamed. Thunder roared across the plains, the wind howled like hyenas in mourning, and lightning cracked the ground like a whip from the heavens. The river overflowed. Chickens ran wild, goats hid. In the middle of this chaos, Awa's cries joined the storm, not in pain, but in power. The hut glowed with a strange blue light. The rain refused to stop. And just as the clock struck the deepest hour of the night, a boy was born. He didn't cry. He opened his eyes, looked around, and clenched his fist like a warrior prepared to fight from his first breath. The elder midwife stepped back, whispering, "This is no ordinary child. He has not entered the world. He has landed." They named him Ibrahim, the Watcher, the Storm Child, the Son of Thunder. When storms come, we run for shelter. But some storms are not sent to break things. Some are sent to reveal what must be rebuilt. And so, Ibrahim grew, not with toys or luxury, but with stories, struggle, and silence. He watched everything. He asked questions most children were too afraid to think about. "Mama, why do the soldiers beat us but protect the rich? Papa, why do our leaders wear golden watches while our rivers run dry?" At age 9, Ibrahim wandered into the sacred mango grove, a place children were forbidden to enter, a place where spirits were said to whisper to chosen ones. He sat under the tallest tree and spoke out loud to no one and everyone. "One day, I will carry this land on my back, even if it breaks me." That day, the wind stopped blowing. 2 years later, the unthinkable happened. Raiders, masked men in dusty trucks, stormed the village in the early morning. They were not from another country. No, they were once brothers. Soldiers turned bandits, paid by powerful men to terrorize the poor. They shot into the sky. They stole the village's grain. They beat the elders and dragged girls by their braids. And in the middle of the chaos, Barka, Ibrahim's father, stood with his forging hammer, one man against a dozen rifles. "You will not take what feeds my people." They shot him twice. He fell on the same earth he once shaped into strength. A man may be buried in the soil, but if his soul burns for justice, he becomes a seed. That night, Ibrahim didn't sleep. He sat by his father's body until morning, whispering, "I will not forget, I will not forgive, but I will not become like them." And from that day, something changed. His voice grew deeper. His eyes no longer blinked with fear. and before the week ended, he made a vow. I will become the shield this land has never had. When a boy loses his father, he becomes two things: either a shadow of pain or a fire that refuses to die. At just 13 years old, Ibrahim left his village. He carried no bags, just the hammer his father used to face the raiders and the final words his mother whispered. Don't chase revenge, chase restoration. He walked for 2 days, barefoot, through dust and rain, until he arrived at a small military outpost. Tired, hungry, eyes red with fury. At the gate, a soldier barked, "Go home, boy. This place isn't for your kind." Ibrahim looked him in the eye. "I didn't come here to be your kind. I came to become something this land hasn't seen." The captain inside overheard, a tall, scar-faced man named Zorome, known by many as the Hammer of the North, feared by his enemies, respected by the land. He ordered the boy be let in. Under Captain Zorome, Ibrahim became more than a boy with rage. He learned discipline, strategy, humility. Zorome told him, "You are not a warrior just because you carry a weapon. A warrior is one who knows when not to use it." But not everyone welcomed him. The older recruits mocked him. "Village boy, thunder child. Let's see how long he lasts when bullets fly." One night, a senior soldier tried to sabotage him during training, replaced his rifle with one that jammed. On the field, Ibrahim was nearly shot. He survived, barely. Zorome investigated. The traitor, a high-ranking officer with ties to black market raiders, the same ones who had killed Barca. And when Ibrahim confronted him, "You protect the same evil that killed my father," the officer smiled cruelly. "Then maybe your father was in the way." Ibrahim reported him. For doing so, he was punished, demoted, and sent to the outer regions, away from the spotlight. But Zorome followed him there. The system may bend under corruption, but remember, thunder doesn't need a stage to shake the earth. In exile, Ibrahim trained harder, helped protect villages forgotten by government. He built schools out of mud and sticks. He used his little stipend to buy grain for mothers and shoes for orphans. Soon, word spread, not of a soldier, but of a protector, a son of the soil. The people called him the lion who walks among the poor. One day, as he helped rebuild a village after another raid, he got news. Captain Zorome had been assassinated, poisoned, not by enemies from outside, but by generals from within, men who feared his loyalty to the people. That night, Ibrahim climbed the highest hill and wept, not for Zorome, but for the country. Sometimes, when the last good man falls, the fire inside the quiet one begins to roar. That was the night Ibrahim stopped serving orders and started preparing for a higher calling. Some men fight for ranks, some for riches, but rare are those who fight simply because no one else will. Years passed. While those in power wore medals, dined in foreign mansions, and paraded in suits made of stolen gold, Ibrahim wore dust, shared meals with villagers, and patched roofs with soldiers and farmers alike. He refused promotions. But the people, they began calling him general, not because of rank, but because of how he led. In the west, when drought hit, Ibrahim organized convoys of grain. In the east, when rebels attacked, he stood shoulder to shoulder with farmers, defending them like a lion defends its cubs. And when the government called for his return, "Come back, let us offer you a position," he replied, "If your table was built from stolen wood, I will not sit at it." One by one, soldiers defected from the corrupt regime and joined Ibrahim. Young people wrote his name on walls. Old women blessed him in marketplaces. Children named goats after him. Something had changed in the land. The thunder was returning. But no light rises without a shadow. One of Ibrahim's closest aides, Sergeant Diawara, had been feeding information to the very generals who had once poisoned Captain Zorame. They feared Ibrahim's rising influence, especially among the military youth. One night, while Ibrahim was on patrol in the northern plains, an ambush was planned. Explosives, snipers, silence. But fate intervened. A boy from a nearby village overheard Diawara's whispers and ran barefoot for hours to warn Ibrahim. Thanks to that boy and the spirits who walk with thunder, Ibrahim escaped. The knife that hurts the most is not the one from your enemy. It is the one from the hand you once called brother. Ibrahim did not retaliate with violence. Instead, he called a public gathering in the village square. He said, "Let Diawara stand before the people, not the gun. Let him explain his choices. Let justice be our guide, not revenge." That day, Diawara confessed. He begged for mercy. Ibrahim forgave him, but exiled him, a punishment worse than prison for a man who had betrayed trust. The country was on edge. Protests, hunger, injustice. When the government attempted to silence the people by cutting off water and internet, Ibrahim issued a simple message. The people are not insects. They are the heartbeat of this land. Enough is enough. That night, in an act of bloodless defiance, soldiers loyal to the people marched into the capital. No guns fired, no citizens harmed. The palace gates opened, not from force, but from fear. And Ibrahim walked in, not with a crown, but with a shea leaf in one hand and his father's hammer in the other.